and shove it in my pocket and come out perfect.
It was a perfect pocket square when you put it in.
It was a PP.
It was a PP.
Oh, PP.
Perfect. No, it was a PPS.
PPS.
Perfect pocket square.
I only got as far as the second.
It was a PP.
I got all excited.
Judah's laughing already.
Oh, Judah and I were talking. So how do we top the fun we had on Friday? Right?
Well, we're going to. I got a lot of feedback on Friday's show.
Yeah, really good.
It was excellent.
I was busy all weekend. I didn't get a chance to kind of plow into the Facebook messages and stuff like that. We were busy working.
We're going to have some fun, guys. You can interact with the program by leaving your comments in the comments section. Keith Smith's going to pull up a search that you on your computer there, so you're prepared.
I'm dabbing at the moment.
I know, I see that.
I'm dabbing at the moment.
Keith, when he starts the program, little behind the scenes secret that we're going to air right now. When he starts the program, the adrenaline is rushing.
It could have been me beat feeding it from the parking garage at 90-something% humidity.
Did you ride the bike this morning?
And I rode the bike.
And you rode the bike. Okay, so that's what it is. It's not the adrenaline. I mean, you already got it in before the show started.
I'm working off of, what is it? Come on, help me out, Judah. What? Endorphins.
Yeah, endorphins. You're working on endorphins.
Right? Endorphins. That's what happens after that.
I love it so much. Give the show a like and a share. We'll get rocking and rolling here in T-minus 5 seconds on today's program. Judah, you feeling pretty good? Yeah. I'll send you, get Facebook Messenger open and we can rock and roll when you're ready.
Did you hear that? Yep.
Yeah, it's a man. That's why I like Judah. I talk a lot. He's a man of few words. We work well together.
So at the house, who talks the most? You?
My wife talks a lot. Yeah, our son talks the most. We can't get that kid to shut up. Oh my gosh!
Look, don't knock that. Our 3-year-old grandson is speech delayed. So.
Well, I sympathize right there. I mean, Trey is just like he talks about anything and everything. Judah, we can let's clock, let's rock.
I still think he got that from you. I think he got that from you, brother.
I mean, what, Trey?
Yeah, just saying. Just saying.
I think you're probably right. Good Monday morning, guys. My name is Jerry Miller, and welcome to Real Talk with Keith Smith. A pleasure to connect with you through the I Love Seville Network on a glorious Monday in August. We have a Charlottesville studio location, but our audience is Central Virginia, Commonwealth, country, and worldwide. And today we're presented by Yes Realty Partners. I just love saying that name, and I love saying it proudly. Yes Realty Partners, because I know the people, what they stand for, their character, their integrity, and how hard they work for their clients. You know what I also love about this show? My friend Keith Smith.
Oh, stop it.
And you're about to see him on the show.
Stop it.
He's got some coffee in front of him.
He's perspiring.
He's sweating for those that are only listening on podcasts and iTunes and Spotify. He's got a red Sharpie, a green Sharpie, a notes. And
I've got a Dairy Market hanky that I'm using to dab my whatever the hell it is, sweat. That's it.
Pat your sweat on your forehead.
I don't know. I'm just trying to be goofy.
Today, it's good to see you, my friend. How was the weekend?
Great. We had a super busy work weekend, plus we had our little ice cream social on.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, it worked out well. I may or may not have had too much ice cream.
Okay. What ice cream did you get?
So it was really cool. He had some great flavors, and it's a super great story. It's and I can't remember the name of the firm, but he's out of Richmond, and
the ice cream trucks are now ice cream firms. Wow. They're getting big time out there in the Lake Monticello. I knew the prices were escalating at Lake Monticello, but I thought it was still ice cream trucks these days.
I'm just going to wipe my
you guys live in the swanky life at the lake.
So the guy came from Richmond, first of all.
Okay.
We're starting already. We're not even 2 minutes in.
People are loving it. I see them responding. They had an ice cream social as a show of gratitude.
Yeah, let me rephrase this. Yona.
Let me rephrase this.
Let me rephrase this.
I love you, Yoda.
Yeah, Yona does she is, the beauty and the brains behind it, and I'm not even sure I'm the brawn anymore.
No, yes you are.
But
you're still the brawn.
I'm still the brawn. So,
and let's not forget your experience and your street savvy.
And a street savvy and negotiating capabilities.
You have a lot of talents.
I have a lot of talents.
You certainly got the gift of gab.
I got the gift of gab. Yeah. Thank God to my Irish grandmother. But so we invite past clients. We do it a couple of times a year and do different things. And we did an ice cream social, and we all set it up in front of my house at Acre Lane, and turned into a community thing. A lot of people around the community came in, and we fed a lot of people ice cream. And I may or may not have had 4 cups, but of ice cream, because I'm an ice cream. Anything,
love ice cream.
Yona said, "So what kind of ice cream should I get?" I said, "Ice cream."
Yeah.
I mean, what flavor? I said, "Ice cream."
We love ice cream.
So he had a blueberry ice cream. It actually wasn't an ice cream. It was more of a gelato.
Okay.
Than an ice cream. It was out of this world. It was really good.
I love gelatos.
But we found them at. We went to the nationalization ceremony on the 4th of July, which John and I do every year, and he was serving ice cream, and he was just a super cool guy, and we grabbed a card, said, "Hey, can you do this?" And he said, "Yes."
So that's what they're all about. They work hard, they play hard. They had a social at their home to thank their friends, their family, all their clients for their support. And I'll tell you, school's about to start, Keith Smith. This week, I think everyone's pretty much rocking and rolling in some kind of school. And we have some expectations that we may see potentially little market adjustments because of the normalcy that's back with people's lives.
Yeah, yes, and maybe
yes, maybe no, yes.
Maybe no, yes on it. But Flavanna's been back for a while.
Yep.
Charles was going back this week? Is it this week? Yeah.
Yep.
On that end of it. So there may be some adjustments. I made a little bit of a post yesterday. And
I saw it.
We'll take a little bit of a deeper dive into it now. I just took a look at what happened. I do this every 7 days, right? And so I look at the 7-day snapshot. So I looked at the last 7 days from 8/14 to 8/21, and I went back 60 days because I saved these on my trusty iPhone.
I like that you do that.
And it took me a while to figure out that they actually date and timestamp the pictures.
So you don't have to market it yourself.
I don't have to put the numbers in them. Right?
Well, you figured it out.
I was putting the numbers in them for me to remember what date I did it. But our 29-year-old daughter out in Seattle goes, "You realize the date and time is right there." But it's interesting. So 2 months ago, the same week, we had 101 new homes come on the market, and this last week we only had 80. So we're actually going the wrong way, right? 2 months ago we were actually more inventory. Again, it's the car footprint that we do on that. But it was very interesting. The pendings were almost spot on. Right, there were a couple of 4 units off. 2 months ago, pendings were 86. Last 7 days, it was 90. A couple other interesting things. So the solds, these are the ones that have actually closed.
Yep.
So last 7 days was 110. A month ago was 106.
Okay.
So we're kind of holding pending the same. We're actually closing a little bit more. And I didn't expect to see that, to be honest with you.
Actives are down.
Excuse me?
Actives are down.
Actives are down. Actives are down pretty darn close to 20. 19 is down on that. But, I felt that the solds wouldn't be that far off, only because, interest rates, right? Everybody was talking interest rates. So it's something we've been talking about for some time. It's not really impacting the market in a week-over-week look on it.
Now, what you brought with you was current active data for the car footprint.
No, that's Charlottesville.
That's Charlottesville City.
I'm sorry, we did not have an adequate pre-production meeting.
Charlottesville City, okay.
So I wanted to take a little dive.
There's a lot.
There's a lot. Did you see some of those red circles on the DOMs? Yeah.
So you want me to highlight them?
Well, actually, before we do that, what I did is I did sold in the city of Charlottesville.
Okay.
Right? No new construction, there really isn't a lot, but I take that out anyway. And only single-family detached homes, so these are not townhomes and condos and stuff like that. So the last 60 days, on that, 84 units have sold. 5 days DOM median, and the median sales price was $467.
It's not cheap.
Same 60 days last year. Very interesting, at least to me it was. 90 sold. So we're a little bit lower,
Okay.
not a lot.
Yeah.
Days on market was actually a day higher.
Okay.
It's the same 60 days last year, 2021. The median sales price was $418, so we're roughly 50 grand plus
Did
or minus.
you hear that? Good Lord.
So we have, if you would have bought a house 60 days ago, last year, and sold it now, you're roughly about 10% on the upside. I think you're going to see.
So year over year, median has gone up 10% in the city of Charlottesville. 10% year over year.
That 60-day block.
That
right?
60-day block.
That 60-day block. So that the 60 days back from yesterday, actually, when I did it, versus the same time last year. And it was interesting because what you have in front of you is the actives, same thing, single family detached, no new construction, and we're at 43 homes. And there's actually several like under 300,000. But if you take a look at those DOMs,
Yeah.
there's 70s, there's 60s, there's 40s, there's 26. And at some point in the show, I kind of want to dive into each one of them and talk about, okay, why are they on the market?
That's a great idea.
On that end of it. So I'm a little wondering what 60 days from now, I think the DOMs are going to be a little bit higher than 5
Yeah.
on that end of it. So what I wanted to do, and maybe I'm talking too much.
No, dude, you're killing it. Bring it.
What I wanted to do was, 2012, when we were smack in the middle of the time of great unpleasantness.
Yeah.
And I wanted to see what the DOMs were for that same 2 months.
Okay. Look at you.
I told you I was going to work yesterday on this, on it. 26 homes sold, same 60 days, 10 years ago, from 6/21/2012 to 8/21/2012. That was as of yesterday. 26 sold, so 26 versus 84. I didn't do the math. Whoever's smart enough can figure that out.
I'll figure it out real quick. You got that?
DOMs, you want to take a gander at what the DOMs were?
84 minus 26 first. Got my 58.
Got it. So the DOMs
Delta of 50 unsold 10 years ago.
DOMs were 60 days.
Okay. And the DOMs now, again?
5.
5. So you're 12 times the DOM.
And so the reason I was thinking this and going through this, and maybe a great way to kick the show off, is, some folks keep on saying, are we going back to the time of great unpleasantness, right? And none of the data is showing that, right? Maybe 60 days from now, things might change a little bit. I prefer to use days on market as a barometer of where we're going, only because it's easy to grab off of Paragon. Also, you don't have to do a lot of math for absorption, right? But 60 days in our marketplace is about where that switch happens, right? Where that switch happens from the seller's market to the buyer's market. So we're like, what'd you say, 12 times?
Yeah.
We've got a bunch of, we've got a long time to go from 5 to 60.
Let's say hi to some of the viewers and listeners. Dino is watching
Hey, Dino.
at Dairy Market.
Good to see you. Good to see you there on Facebook the other day.
Yep.
I wandered in there over the weekend to have a quick meeting. Didn't see you because otherwise you would have tackled me and said hello to me.
He's watching at Dairy Market. We love you, Dino. Jerry Brown, welcome to the program. Bill McChenzie, welcome to the program. Guys, questions and comments, jump in. I will relay them live on air. Catherine Lochner, hello and welcome to the show. Thank you for tagging me in that post, Catherine. We should get you on one of these talk shows soon to talk teaching. The conversation continuously comes up on this show that housing is heading for a 2008, 2009, 2010 repeat.
Yeah.
We have continuously said on the show, we do not think that's going to happen. He's now backed it up with data from 10 years ago. And we've also highlighted the fact that the homes have massive equity positions now, and the regulatory nature of getting a loan is much more difficult. It's much more stringent to get a loan now than it was in 2008.
Median sales price, by the way, 10 years ago was 252.
Did you hear that? City of Charlottesville,
Single family
2012,
detached, no new construction.
single family detached, median sales price was what?
252.
And it's 467 now.
467,500 to be exact, but I kind of rounded it
I
down.
mean, that's substantial.
It's 215K if I did my math right.
I mean, that is a substantial increase in 10 years.
Yeah, that's a substantial increase. So it's going to keep on going. But it's interesting. I really wanted to, when I started pulling the actives in Charlottesville as it stands right now,
Yeah.
and I started seeing a lot of 66, 54, 67, 73 days on market. The median in Charlottesville right now, this is actives only. The median days on market for actives is 41, right? So that not to confuse folks, but there is a different DOM for active versus sold. But right now, the median average for everything that's on the market right now, which is 43, you're roughly at 41 days. And then what will happen is units sell, the math will start changing.
So you're still convinced it's a seller's market?
I am, but I really wanted to take, and I didn't have time to do that yesterday, I wanted to take a look at some of these 70s and some of these 60s, literally look at them, without giving away too much information so I don't cross any lines.
Sure, yeah.
Get the MLS copy.
So which one do you want to start with?
Well, I've been talking. I haven't had a chance to upload them here in a second. But look, the reality of it is we've been talking about it on the show for forever. And while I do this, I'm going to say, what are 5 things on the market, right? Location, price, features, conditions, and timing.
You burnt that into my head.
I burned that into your head. So, hang on one second here.
Catherine, we're talking 2022 housing versus 2012 housing. We're taking a 10-year look. 2012 was a time in housing in Charlottesville where it was very difficult. We were very much in the middle of a housing recession. And we're comparing data points of 2012 to data points here in 2022. Why we're doing that is we're trying to highlight that housing is in a good position locally. It's backed by strong equity positions in people's homes, and folks aren't just getting loans willy-nilly like they were 10 years ago, 12 years ago. We're also highlighting that homeowners are much more cautious of using home equity line of credits, HELOCs. They're not just using homes as piggy banks like they did 10 years ago, 12 years ago. And that's kept equity in people's houses. Now, Scott Morris, friend of the program, joins us on Wednesdays here on Real Talk, did say this: credit card balances are escalating very quickly for American households. And as Americans, Virginians, Charlottesvillians, Central Virginians are using credit cards to pay their bills, there is some concern with those in finance that homeowners will utilize the equity positions they have to help keep credit card balances in check. Follow that trend. Keith, jump in here. We got comments coming in fast and furious.
Yeah, so I just wanted to pull, and I'll leave addresses out so much, and owners and realtors, so I don't cross any lines. But there's a home in Charlottesville that's at 259. It's been on the market for 75 days. Right, and so when you take a look at it closely, and you take a look at the pictures, I physically haven't been in it. Again, going back to these 5 location, price, features, conditions, and timing on that end of it, I think in reality the home is just a little bit overpriced based on what has to be done in it. So I think what's happening here is you're starting to see the sellers adjusting the prices. So I can tell you in this one, it started at 269, now it's down to 259, right? So I suspect they've got a little ways to go to hit the market. But what I don't want folks to think, because they went in the market too high, in my opinion, on that end of it, the market is going down, right? So as you see those go down, these listings go down, they just were overpriced to start with. And what they're doing is settling back to the market. We just proved year over year was a 10% gain between 2021 and 2022. So instead of, if you buy today, you might, it'll be probably sub 10%. You're probably somewhere between 6 to 8% year over year kind of gain on it. But
so speak to that. So Kevin Yancey, we love when you watch the program. This is also coming in from Jennifer, and Stephen is making a reference of this comment as well. 3 people on we have 15 Facebook pages this show is broadcasting on, 15 Twitter accounts, YouTube, iTunes, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, LinkedIn, Instagram. I mean, it's everywhere here.
And my personal favorite, which is Periscope.
Periscope, it's on Periscope. Twitter, he's exactly right. So this topic is coming in various forms across the entire network, and it's the appreciation can't continue like this, or Charlottesville City will only be a home for millionaires. This comment is also coming in. How much does Keith think the appreciation will continue to go up? And the other comment in this family of appreciation comments is, if the appreciation does continue like this, what does Keith think will happen to Charlottesville? So 3 different variations, all with appreciation as the granular topic.
Yeah, so it's interesting. So the median, like we said, the median sales price in this is closed, was $467. When you start taking a look at what's available at that kind of range, in that upper 3s and lower 4s, there's very few homes. There's maybe 4 or 5, and it's interesting. Those all are kind of in single-digit DOMs, and I suspect they'll go under contract pretty quickly.
Right.
When you start looking at the lower-priced homes and you start digging into them, they need a ton of work.
The DOMs, the high DOMs on actives in Charlottesville City are lower-priced homes.
And then on the upper end, you've got a couple of them that are in the 174 and 117. So normally the question would be, okay, what's wrong with them, right? So I have not dug into those individual listings at this point, but definitely at the entry level, because I think that's what the viewers and listeners are asking about. So the problem is if I'm going to buy this home for $259 on it, and I've got to put money into it, do I have the capital to do that, right? Do I have the money to do that on it? And then if I do, am I overpricing myself for the market?
How many price reductions are you seeing?
So that's interesting. Thank you for asking that. I actually looked that up. Same week, 2 months ago.
Yep.
There was 77 price changes.
Same week.
This is car footprint. This is not Charlottesville now.
Okay.
This is car footprint, right? This last 7 days, 47. So what's happening here is the market, from a pricing perspective, is starting to settle out a little bit, right? The sellers are realizing this isn't a piggy bank, right? And they're listening to their trusted advisors. They're listening to their real estate agents, their real estate professionals. They're listening to folks like Scott Morris and everybody in our partner file that we have and our partners for the show on that. And so that's a positive sign. Another interesting stat, 60 days to now, we had 18 homes back on market. We have not been talking about that a lot. So that means these were homes that contract fell through, went back on the market. There was only 18 in the last 7 days. 2 months ago, it was 25. So 2 months ago, there was a lot of back on markets. There was a lot of price changes. 60 days, everybody was trying to figure the market out.
The time has created a more realistic seller.
So that's the 5th one, right? Time. That's the reason most people only talk about 4. I always add the 5th one because time matters.
Time matters.
And anyway, it's interesting. So I don't know if I covered all 3.
Oh, you did. You did. Woody Fincham. Let's give him props.
Woody. I've actually was supposed to call him this weekend. I apologize, Woody.
He's got a crystal ball prediction. Ooh, I like crystal ball predictions.
Oh, should we get him out?
You can pull it out if you like. I'll read the comment. He says, I'll pull out the crystal ball. Unless we have a major economic issue, I'm thinking we're going to end up back in the 3 to 5% appreciation range year over year for Charlottesville and the area immediately around the city. and we're probably looking at a 45 to 90 day normal days on market for regular things.
Yes. So Woody, in your world, do you see what is the DOM? What's the magic DOM change that it really goes from a buyer's market to a seller's, or vice versa?
Woody Fincham is an appraiser.
That's right. One of our wonderful sponsors.
For those watching the program, he also adds this. So then, Woody, see if you can give us that that answer to Keith's question there. He says, "Happy Monday. I've noticed in the last 4 or 5 years, we have gone in and appraised the same residential property 3 or 4 times over the last. Let's see. In each of these situations, the homeowners were using the equity in their home to buy toys, recreation vehicles, Corvettes, boats. It was a little concerning. Yeah. But I will say that it is as much lower rate than what we saw back in 2005.
Well, it was everybody back.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it was
almost everybody.
It was way easier, and people hadn't gotten truly burnt yet then. He says,
I think they had visors on, right, and tunnel vision, and this is not going to happen to me.
And it was everywhere. It was getting marketed to you. Now, I will say this, and I'll get to the other comments coming in here. Vanessa Parkhill, hello, welcome to the program. I will say this. The marketing campaigns and the advertising campaigns that are out there for people utilizing the equity in their homes is picked up significantly.
I have to tell you,
they're everywhere.
So that's my concern, and this is really a conversation we've got to save for Scott on Wednesday when he comes on and visits us. But that's my biggest concern. If the regulatory requirements loosen up a little bit,
and they are loosening.
They are, yeah.
Yeah.
I've been doing this for 3.5 decades, and that's what happens. And this pendulum just goes pegs to the other way on that end of it. I think I may be wrong, and this may be a little Pollyannic. Did I say that right?
I think you did.
Pollyannic. Okay. On that, from my perspective, but I think there's enough institutional memory from the time of great unpleasantness for folks to kind of whoa, and we're doing it here on the show, right?
We're waving the red. Trying to.
We're waving the flag, not the red flag, but we're pulling out the yellow card anyway, and saying, look, this is not a good thing. So I think the market's trying to balance itself, and I know it is trying to balance itself out. But not to make it about Realty Partners, but we're doing great. Our phones are ringing, emails are coming in. On that end of it, people are starting to say, okay, I want to sell, I want to buy now, where maybe 60, 90 days ago, everybody was like, whoa. So, I think we're going in the right direction.
Woody Fincham, I got a question for you, and one for Keith Smith. What is the top of the market, the million plus, going to do as this market shifts? What is the top of the market, the million plus, going to do as this market shifts? That may not be in the city of Charlottesville or the urban ring? I got that question for you. And we got a lot of comments coming in. Woody's got an answer for you. Oh, wow, the comments are coming here fast and furious. He says, first answer that question, and then I'll get to Woody's answer for me.
So what you're asking me is, what's the top end of the market looking like? Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I did not dig into that over the weekend. I can try to do this, but as we've discussed on Friday, my ADD.
Yeah, or just, back of the napkin, from your experience.
Yeah, so back of the napkin. So I'm just taking a look at what I've got in front of me from Charlottesville that has sold. Just a quick look at it in the last 60 days. Let's call something over, what are we saying, over $1 million?
Yeah.
Okay. 800?
That's fine.
Okay, so there's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 homes in the last 60 days at Charlottesville that sold over 800. Literally the same amount a year ago.
See, that's the little sector, the little piece of the market I'm a little worried about.
But I got to tell you, there was 1, 2, 3, 4 in the 800 range. The rest in the upper nines are only 2 over 1 million. And in the last 60 days, there was only 1 800, 1 900, and everything was $1 million and 2 of them that were over 2 million.
Okay, then the reason I bring that up is you see certain neighborhoods where inventory moves regardless of conditions. Your Ednams, your Ednam Forests, your Bel Airs. Inventory in those, say, 3 neighborhoods. We're talking 3 Ivy neighborhoods here.
So just real quickly, those last 60 days between 800 and 2.4 million dollars, not one of them was over 7 days on the market.
So you're saying they're moving?
They're moving.
Okay, well, why aren't they moving in Albemarle?
I didn't pull Albemarle's numbers on that end of it yet, but I'm just taking a look at what I pulled for Charlottesville. I could try to do it here.
So you're not, you don't think softening in that?
I'm just telling you what I'm looking at for Charlottesville. It's not softening. I can tell you a year ago, we had a couple in 47 days on market, but it was the same. That was an outlier. Most of them were under 7 days on market. So it's kind of not softening. The volume isn't there though, right? At least in the city of Charlottesville.
Okay. I highlighted 3 neighborhoods: Ednam, Ednam Forest, and Bel Air, all in that Ivy corridor, all with active listings. And traditionally, those 3, now these are million-plus listings, but traditionally those listings don't stay on the market for long. That's why I brought it up. Woody brings this question to you, this answer to your question. Traditionally in his business, somewhere in the 90 to 120 day on market. But who knows what the new normal will really look like. Market analysis is always very clear when you're looking at it retrospectively, not so much when you're in the middle of it. Sure. That's definitely true.
But that's
anything.
But that's what we do for a living, right? That's what Woody does for a living, right? This is our trusted advisor thing we've always talked about, right? With everybody that's one of our partners, with Real Talk with Keith Smith. That's what we do for a living. We look at this stuff and we help guide our clients through it. So I just took a quick look at Ednam.
Yeah.
While you were.
There's one on the market, the one next to your old stomping grounds there.
Yep.
You know where that is, right?
I do.
I mean, that's right next to the what's the name of that White House?
The White House.
That big mansion.
Yeah,
I mean, it's got a name.
It does, yeah. Ednam Hall.
Yeah, right next to Ednam. It's literally next to Ednam Hall.
So it's interesting.
The reason I bring this up is this is a single-family detached home next to Ednam Hall, across from Farmington, literally a driver away from Foods of All Nations, a 3-wood.
Yeah.
And it's been on there.
Yeah. So I haven't looked at that right now, but I did a quick look at what is active, pending, and sold in the last 12 months.
Yeah.
And there's literally one active
in Ednam.
And one sold. So what generally happens Ednam's really not a great choice of a subdivision, because what happens, they very rarely turn over.
Well, and when they do turn over, they turn over immediately, or they don't even hit the market when they turn over.
Yes, so the one that's on the market that I'm looking at right now in Ednam Forest, that's 1.7 million. Excuse me, Ednam.
That's in Ednam.
Yeah, I apologize.
Ednam Forest behind it.
Yeah, that's exactly right. So I don't see that as a long on the tooth as far as days on market for that price point. But the point I'm making is to do a comp against that in there.
Very difficult.
In the last 12 months, only 1 unit sold.
Well, and very difficult to do a comp because much of Ednam is attached inventory. This is single-family detached.
That's exactly right.
So it's hard to find a comp here.
That's exactly
so the comp for this particular listing in Ednam may end up being across the street or Bel Air or Ednam Forest, more single-family detached communities.
Yeah. So I just added attached into that criteria real quickly, and it only jumped it by 1. And
you talk the neighborhood next door, Bel Air's got 2 on the market.
Yeah, so these market, this Bel Air, Ednam Forest, the golf course,
Farmington.
Thank you, Farmington. Yeah. They just don't turn over. They don't. So I'm looking into the history on the one that's on the market that hasn't turned over in years.
You're talking the Ednam one.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, so that's kind of what's happening with that. I think the real thing, and I'm trying to work on a show to bring one of the executives from Stanley Martin, and then another, like a custom build like Christopher Bremett.
Oh, that'd be a great show.
On that, I'd really want to know how the $1 million plus new construction market's doing. We don't really see that in Paragon because a lot of those custom home transactions never hit the MLS. So we don't know what they are.
Kevin says this. We got Philip Dow
Hey, Kevin, how
from
you doing?
Scottsville with comments. Kevin from Waynesboro with comments. We'll get to as many of these comments as possible. Kevin says this. All three of the neighborhoods you mentioned were custom subdivisions, and
That's exactly
everyone
right.
knows that those homes, when they were built, were quality houses built by good builders. So deferred maintenance is not an issue.
So Kevin's spot on. The second part of it, and thank you for jogging my my little noodle here, Kevin. The fact that they're custom, some of the longer the tooth on the market, generally these homes get, and I know I did a lot of them myself, not in those subdivisions, but in other areas. When you start over customizing a house,
Yeah, you don't get the value back.
A, you don't get the value back. B,
Shrink your buyer pool.
your buyer pool is, the answer is, okay, Jerry, we need to find another Jerry. And
Yeah.
God knows that doesn't exist. I'm trying to, there's not another Jerry. That's for sure. Right, Judah?
Even though people, he's
There's
very
not
much.
another Jerry. There's not another Keith either.
There's no other Keith. There's no other Judah. There's no other Eliza. And some would say, thank goodness for that.
I know my kids would.
So what do you address the point of the custom neighborhoods?
Yeah,
and probably not a ton of deferred maintenance there.
He's 100% right.
That's a good point.
And it's why, in Ednam, and that's what I have in front of me, attached and detached, in the last 12 months, only 2 homes sold. And it's because they just don't turn over a lot.
Well, here's a follow-up question from Jennifer. Keith mentions neighborhoods that don't turn over. Which ones would he say are the ones that turn over the least? Great question.
Turn over the least. I think we're talking about them.
Yeah, I think we are.
I think we're talking about them. They're these particular neighborhoods, they don't, Bel Air's one, right? Like we
Bel
said.
Air is across from the Bel Air gas station.
Yep.
Fantastic location right next to 250. Hop, skip, and a jump from Foods of All Nations and the Boar's Head. I mean, you can get to downtown in less than 10 minutes. Less than 10 minutes. Jump in here, Keith Smith.
So Bel Air, last 12 months, active and sold is literally no pending. So there's 2 actives there.
There's 2 actives in Bel Air.
Yeah.
These neighborhoods sell like hotcakes.
Yeah. So and we're looking at the ones that are sold 4 days on market, 10 days on market, 5 days on market, 22 days on market. And these are 2.9, 1.9, 1.2, 1.1. The cheapest in the last 12 months that is sold is $650, which is pretty interesting.
I know that one. It needed a lot of work, and that's putting it nicely.
Oh, yeah.
Putting it very nicely.
Yeah, but now it becomes a different math problem there.
Well, that one, the 650 that you mentioned, was in a lot of ways a total rebuild. So someone's buying essentially the dirt for that particular one. The one that's just under $1 million, $999,000 on Old Farm Road, is an owner agent that has it on the market. And then there's another one that's on a large piece of dirt that's 1.4. Paul MacArthur, watching the program,
Hey,
he
Paul.
says, custom is not always the best, and what was custom 20 to 30 years ago looks dated today.
So, if, it's Paul. Thank you so much. We actually did some listing presentations on some custom homes I built 20 years ago, and they've reached a certain point in their life. They're moving on, and literally when I built them 20 years ago, I said, guys, you've got to not over customize it. And the answer usually was, I don't care, this is my last house. And it's never your last house, right? There's always some,
Well, this is a good question for you.
and they're pretty customized, and it's going to be tough to sell.
These neighborhoods are selling regardless of the updated nature of the houses. There are other neighborhoods in Central Virginia that do not have this kind of resilience.
Sure.
But the ones that we're talking about, the inventory sells regardless of
But
the
that's
condition.
been like that forever.
And
As long
well,
as
I
they
guess I
do.
want to highlight there's not many like that.
No, I think we've very quickly came to the top of the list. You can't even put Old Trail in that list, right? There's really not that many subdivisions like that, and you're not going to see a lot of them anymore, right? You're never going to see any more like a Bel Air, like an Ednam, because you can't develop them.
Because you can't develop there.
The development code of development right now would not allow it.
No, well, people are essentially buying a school district in a lot of ways there.
We've sold quite a few in there.
Because that's Murray, that's Meriwether, that's Henley.
So the ones that we've sold, we've never sold a home over there to a young family.
Well, because of the price point.
It was 90, literally, not a lot of them, about a half a dozen of them over the years, in that they're all folks coming back to UVA, retired, coming back to UVA.
Woody, the top of the market usually is is mostly unaffected. There are still many conventional and government loan programs out there that are doing jumbo loans, so there's still a good amount of capital available to purchase, but when you get into the luxury market, most of those folks can write a check for it, so it's not necessarily affected by purchasing power due to the increase in interest rates. We do a lot of luxury level property, and I've not really seen any great effect to this point.
So it's interesting, the one that's active for 195 actually started off at 1.3. It actually went up. And but it's been on the market for quite a while, 114 days. Look, the buyer who can buy a $2 million house can just bring more cash to the table and adjust the payment. The buyer at the 230 mark for Charlottesville typically can't,
No.
right? And they can't spend the money to renovate it. They can't buy the one that sold for $650 over in Bel Air and say, well,
I'll
hey,
put another $1 million into it.
hey, Keith,
Yeah.
hey, Keith, can you send over a dozer and crunch this house and, I want to build a new one?
Right.
That's not going to happen at that price point.
Well said, well said. Do Ashcroft and Keswick fit that model? Keswick Estates and Ashcroft, the model you're talking
that's
about.
actually a great, I love this show, man.
That just got put on the feed.
People are so much smarter than me. Let's see, Keswick Estates, though, right? That would be-
Keswick Estates.
Yeah.
I know that market fairly well there. There's 3 active in Keswick Estates.
So 9 in the last 12 months. Let me make sure I got this right. Yeah, in the last 12 months. Let's see what we got here on this.
The entry point at Keswick Estates right now is $2,425,000.
That's exactly right.
And the $2,425,000 listing in Keswick Estates is 3,750 square feet.
So there's one pending for 2.5.
Yep. And then there's the one on Palmer Drive that's $2,675,000 is brand new.
Yeah.
It's never been lived in. It's completely brand new. Look at the days on market.
Well, that's because it was built. They listed it when they were building it.
Well,
The
look-
one that's 805?
The 2884 Palmer Drive, 2675.
Not 75. I got 28.
2884.
Yeah, 28.
Palmer Drive.
Yeah. So
that house was finished last year.
Yeah, so what they did is, the reason is 805, and new construction, I would discount.
You're saying 805 DOM. That's what
DOM.
you're saying.
Sorry
Okay.
about that.
Misunderstood you. Okay.
Sorry, no, I probably didn't say it. But it's 805 DOMs. I discount that on new construction right away, because I could just look at that and
Oh, it's brand new.
and know that that's been a long
Okay, so
build.
there you go. That's good knowledge from there. You're saying that 805 days on market is not accurate because it was put on market while they were doing the construction to
That's
entice buyers to come.
That's exactly right.
Why is something like that not moving?
2,670,000.
Well, I understand the price, but I mean, the price is moving elsewhere.
I don't know the answer to that. I need to actually kind of dig into it. My suspicion is the price point, and maybe they customized it too much. Who knows? I have not been in it to talk about.
So would you say Ashcroft and Keswick Estates fit that Bel Air, Ednam Forest model of the inventory is going to move regardless?
Yeah, Ashcroft is a little different.
It's a Paul Buyer. It's a
RL Buyer.
RL Buyer development. Yeah.
You know, The house is gorgeous. I'm looking through the pictures on Keswick Estates right now as I'm talking to you.
Oh my gosh,
So-
2884 Palmer is gorgeous, dude.
Yeah, I don't have an answer to that.
It is gorgeous,
Yeah.
and it's on some dirt. 4 acres plus.
Yeah,
4 acres plus.
yeah. So
4.15.
you see the association dues?
Well, the dues ain't cheap, and that's
Yeah.
part of the estates, but they cover everything in there for you. Yeah, the dues are. What's the exact dues number a month? Is it
No,
5?
well, it's a year. They got it in a year. It's actually really not that bad. 3,271.
3,271 a year.
Yeah, divide. Yeah.
You're talking
I literally was
272 a
gonna. I
month.
literally was gonna say divide that by 12. Then I realized how stupid is
Dude,
that?
come on. It's not stupid. We're doing a live show.
That's right.
A lot of people
Live.
don't realize this. This is unscripted. We are literally just sitting here having a talk show.
It's funny. You should say that. When I was out west doing my talking in Seattle and Portland, this show came up and yada, 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 and all this stuff. And they were talking to me about, well, I watched this podcast, listen to this podcast and that and this, and yours is a little different. And I said, yeah, because those podcasts are edited, right? This is live.
Yeah, this is raw and unfiltered.
It's
It's
live, and it just gets put on the website.
Yeah.
And it is what it is.
Right.
And
And that's what people want.
yeah.
They don't want it filtered and screened, and
Yeah.
they want it to be the dirty.
I got to tell you, I had a ton of fun on Friday.
Oh, this show's awesome. I'm having a ton of fun right now. I mean, people are literally pitching us neighborhoods and
Yeah.
asking us to give you to give us their take on it. It's awesome.
On Friday, it was like, let's just do Batman and Robin and have fun. Today, actually, I did some research.
Yeah, and you're killing it.
Yeah, thank you.
And you're killing it. So more neighborhoods are being pitched to you here.
Oh.
Eddie, do you want to follow up on the estates, Keswick Estates?
Yeah.
You need to give us a take on the neighborhood historically.
Oh,
You got a brand new Keswick Hall,
Yeah.
completely remodeled.
It started off a little rocky.
It started off rocky.
A lot rocky.
Understatement.
There was a whole kind of lawsuit stuff going on with Laura Ashley and you.
He's talking the resort here, the
Was-
club.
Isn't this the same?
hotel, yeah.
It's the same
Yeah.
part of it on that end of it. And it's funny, subdivisions, let me see if I can do this a little better. You ever wonder why there's a spot that a store never makes it? Or
Yeah.
a restaurant doesn't make it?
Yeah.
Food is great and all that stuff. And eventually,
Like, for example, that location on Water Street where the Jewish deli was.
oh, got it. Now,
There's been so many iterations in that
what's
spot.
in there now? Oh, it's like a meat on a
What's-
stick, I think. It's like a,
What's in there where the Jewish deli was on Water Street in York Place?
somebody help us out.
I mean, how many restaurants have been in that spot? Check the
Oh, you're
the
talking
interwebs.
about actually in the York Place.
Yeah, where the Jewish deli was.
No,
you know?
there was two locations. It was there, and there was another one on the corner. No.
Okay.
That was on the corner of
Water and Second?
Water and Second.
Okay, though that's the one I'm talking about on the corner of Water and Second. That location has been so many iterations of restaurants.
Exactly right.
Another example is where Tonic is right now on Market Street,
Oh,
and I
yeah.
love Tonic.
It's
and
great.
I hope they're there forever. But there's been a boatload of restaurants at that location.
So this is your world, right? So
Yeah.
why do you think neither one of those and then sometimes something comes in there and that's it, right? And that's what happens with subdivisions. For some reason, they don't get rolling. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. And then all of a sudden, a new builder comes in there, a new developer comes in there, or something like that, and it just goes from that. There's a subdivision on 250 that has some horses. It used to have horses in it. That did not do well for a long time, and then all of a sudden, now it is.
So, interesting question for you. This is a really.
I didn't want to name it.
I mean, you can name it. Why don't you name it?
Okay, Glenmore.
Yeah.
Glenmore.
Yeah, you can
Glenmore
totally name
sat
it. Yeah.
dormant
Forever.
forever.
And then COVID made it take off.
COVID
Like
made
a
it take-
rocket ship.
Like a rocket ship.
Which is very true what he just said. So, this is a great comment. Are you ready for this one?
Yes, sir. I'll take a sip.
This is from Spencer.
Nice shirt, by the way.
Thank you very much. Spencer says, are subdivisions more protected or insulated than homes that are not within a community?
Oh, wow. What a great question.
That's a great question. That's a talk show right there. The subdivision versus the standalone home, the pros and cons, and the upside and downside. That's a great topic,
I'm actually thinking. That's a scary thing.
right?
That's a rare thing.
Okay, I'll throw some things out there while you think. Okay? The subdivision is going to offer community amenities where the standalone home will not have the neighborhood amenities that a subdivision has. Some of those neighborhood amenities could be walking paths, golf courses, pools, tennis courts, workout facilities, hiking trails. Those amenities were crucial during COVID as we were living outside more than ever.
And prior to COVID, golf course were like, forget about it.
Prior to COVID, golf courses were in the crapper.
Now.
Since COVID, they've had an uptick in popularity.
I took a bike ride on Sunday I did a couple laps around the
And there were a
lake.
ton of people playing.
My God, it was packed.
Right. People are
It was
out
packed.
there playing.
2 years ago, that would not have been the case.
So we should highlight the subdivisions, the amenities. That
Yeah.
has value now.
It has value, but let's do a little yin and yang here.
Please, please.
So the downside to that is,
HOA payments.
and HOA payments, and so people understand, every HOA in the world, okay, in the Virginia world is probably too much of a stab there. There's things called special assessments. Right, and depending on which subdivision you're in, and so forth and so on, and how the bylaws are set up, and the governors and restrictions, but you can hit a special assessment on that, and I don't know if there was any improvements at Glenmore, but I could talk about Lake Monticello.
Please go ahead. Yeah.
There was like a $4 million fund or a special assessment to go ahead and improve the pool house and the club, which always these things needed to be done, and it's awesome. They don't talk about it enough, which is frustrating to me, who pays the dues over there. But we got a special assessment, so that could happen. I think the question...
We had a special assessment based on keeping land undeveloped.
Sure. They went
Association purchased the land
land, yeah.
to keep new density from happening.
Sure.
And the association purchasing the land raised everyone's payments.
Sure. So that's kind of the opposite side of it. But I think, who was the person that...
Spencer. That's a great question.
Yeah. So Spencer, I think where Spencer was driving at is when the time of great unpleasantness happened, did homes out in the county, for instance, with well and septic on it, fare better than homes that were in subdivisions?
That's what he's getting at.
Yeah.
And also in periods like this,
That's going to require a little bit of...
That's a damn good question.
Yeah, that's a damn good question. And Spencer, do me a favor, watch on Wednesday. I'm going to dig into back in 2008, 9, and 10 and take a look at specifically, and I'll have an answer for it. To wing it would be a little different.
Shoot from the hip.
Yeah, you know what? I think that's a yes and maybe no yes, right? I think at certain price points, it did well. I can tell you Lake Monticello had a lot of short sales, a lot of foreclosures in it. I don't remember seeing a lot out in the counties. Maybe they did a little bit better. Your water and sewer, you don't have to pay for it, right? It's so that it was helpful in payments, and you don't have an HOA, so all of a sudden the HOA is struggling because of a downturn, says, you know what, your dues now is, instead of $1, is $10, right? So you don't have that. You do have tax increases and insurance increases. So it's a freaking great question.
It's a great question.
I need to ponder it and dig into some data so I can answer it clearly.
I love it. So Carsbrook.
Spencer, thank you.
Your take on Carsbrook? People are asking for that.
Carsbrook, I'd have to look up.
I love people are just pitching you neighborhoods. This is awesome.
I personally, I think I've only sold 1 or 2 in the years out in Carsbrook, so I'd have to do a little data search on that.
Travis is watching in Danville.
Hey, Travis, I'm still trying to get to see you, brother.
It says, it seems that the long-term life of new communities without amenities and some mixed use is not as long as those that do have it. PPEAs will become more and more important to help solve the housing crisis and to provide these amenities.
Oh.
You want to touch on that?
No, I love PPE.
You want to let us know what those are?
So technically the acronym reads Public-Private E is supposed to stand for Education Act. But what it really is when jurisdictions, the public and the private sector get together to do a project. The E at one point stood for education. I think at the point when it was created, it was kind of more of an education-focused thing, but is now morphed into it. And that is a life, that is a business, that is an entity all unto itself. Boy, these questions we're
Oh my
getting
gosh,
are like,
dude.
they're like, I'm writing down
High
shows.
level, I know.
So PPEA is, I mean, we talk about this all the time. We try to have the conversations about this topic and keep it engaging, and so. But a PPEA is so detailed.
Catherine Lochner wants to know what that acronym means.
Private Public Education Act is what it stands for. And Travis can chime in and fill in what, if I've got that wrong. But it's when the public bodies like Danville gets together with the private entities and they make some magic happen.
Multiple people are telling
I'm on
us.
Carsbrook, by the way, whenever you want to talk.
Let's do Carsbrook here in a second. Multiple people are saying the restaurant you're looking for is Otto Turkish Street Food.
Thank you.
Otto Turkish Street Food on the corner of Market and Second. We wondered why that location, despite having quality tenants, turnovers constantly.
And the food is excellent.
The food is excellent.
I couldn't remember it, but Yona and I have eaten there multiple times.
Carsbrook, Keith Smith.
Yeah, one active, 575, been on the market for 89 days.
Carsbrook is behind Coors Brothers, 29 North. Is that right?
That's exactly right. Yeah.
Okay.
One pending in the 645 range, and then there are 9 that have sold in the last 12 months. The median sales price over there is 557 in this last 12-month window, with a median days on market of 17.
Oh, that's Woodbrook.
Oh, that's Woodbrook. You're right. I apologize.
Thank you. Multiple viewers on this. That's Woodbrook.
It was a test. We were testing.
So we were going to test. Thank you.
It was a test for us. There's a little thing with an M called map. I can click on it and find it. Yeah. So there's. Like I said, I can't remember the last time we actually sold something over there. I think where your Woodbrook and Carsbrook, they're kind of close to one another.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I think Carsbrook kind of comes up on the Ravenna River, if I remember correctly.
The friend of the program, Ray Cadell, lives in one of those subdivisions, I believe.
You know
and,
what?
And Yancey knows his stuff. He says Carsbrook is across from Malloy. Woodbrook is behind Coors Brothers. Dude, you can't get anything by the viewers and listeners on this fine and fair talk
We're going to
show.
get an ice cream and a car.
Yeah, you cannot get anything by. And this, again, shows us that this literally is a live talk show. Neil Williamson, welcome to the program.
Hey, Neil, how's it going, buddy?
Give Neil some props.
Congratulations, Neil. He's got a new family member.
Oh,
a
he
puppy.
got a dog.
He got a puppy.
I love seeing that photo on your page.
Your
Neil
life
Williamson.
is just about ready to change again,
Neil
my friend.
Williamson, now the proud owner, he and his wife, the proud owner of a puppy.
Mrs. Smith is thinking about a second one, by the way.
You really? Yeah. Forrest is going to get a brother or a sister?
Yeah.
What do you think about this comment?
I think a sister, but
There is an intrinsic value that exists from being in a well-developed subdivision.
agreed.
We've seen builders build inside of subdivisions, and then build the same model outside of the subdivision, and there is certainly a difference. The dirt costs more to be in a subdivision, but I would have to say that consumers are willing to pay more to be inside of that community. That's from Woody. Woody lives at the lake, right?
Yeah. I was just literally thinking, as you were speaking, I wonder what Woody thinks about this, and there you go. Look, so from
to speak for my wife, she would feel the same way.
Yeah, but I can tell you one of the hardest things to find right now is something on 2 acres with no covenants and restrictions. There is buyer profiles. Maybe that's a wrong choice of words. I'm not supposed to use that word. There are buyers out there. There you go, Smith. Just erase that whole last statement. We can do that, right?
Yeah,
Totally.
I think he just did it.
It's erased. Look at that. I never said that word.
Oh, he never said
that. There are buyers that call us and say, look, I'm picking a number, $500,000, 2 acres, well and septic. I don't want to be beholden to a covenant.
You're talking just the dirt.
No, a house. A house.
That house doesn't exist.
Yeah, okay, 750. Whatever the number is.
Okay.
But there are buyers out there that want to buy and live someplace where they don't have covenants and restrictions. They can put their RV on there and not get yelled at.
Where is someone getting 2 acres in Albemarle County for $750,000 with a house?
Yeah. Like I said, forget about the
number. Okay, all right, I was going to say.
Forget about the number.
I can see someone
I
spending
was trying to make a point, Miller.
$1.5 million, $1.75 million for 2 acres with a house and no covenants and restrictions.
I was trying to make a point, Miller, and you went ahead and...
What would the hotbeds be? And more folks are asking about neighborhoods. You know, one that we should highlight is Turkey Run.
So...
Southern Albemarle County, you know Turkey Run?
I do. I'm trying to find what's available in Albemarle County with 2 acres
Oh, please.
and up. I do need to customize this a little bit, folks, because I want to take out HOA. So I'm going to...
This is where he instructs Jerry to talk.
That's right.
And this is where I'm killing time. Real Talk with Keith Smith.
Yeah, I think
presented
I'm
by
doing
Keller
okay with
Williams.
my
You're doing-
ADD today.
Dude, you're crushing the show. You're doing a damn good job.
I think I'm doing good. I think I'm doing good. This is, the therapist said, this is what I should do on the show.
Catherine Lochner says that exists in the Bedford Hills subdivision. 2 acres, low HOA, no covenants and restrictions. Catherine Lochner. Catherine, are you a retired teacher? I know you mentioned you've been here since 2010, but are you a retired teacher now, Catherine? She said, look at the Bedford Hills subdivision, 2 acres, low HOA, no covenants and restrictions. It exists.
It does, but I don't see any of it on the market. So let me just, before I open up my mouth, let me make sure that I don't make a mistake here.
We have more neighborhood analyses being requested of you, including Benavar and Dunlora.
Got it. Well, let's stay on the 2 acre thing right now. So, interesting. So what I did is I just told the system I'm looking for a minimum of 2 acres, maximum is unlimited. Unlimited price, right? We're not saying a certain price range, but I did tell it no HOA. So right now, there's 57 properties available that meet those criteria. Rather narrow, right? Right. No HOA, minimum 2 acres, available for sale in Albemarle County, and they range from a minimum of $250 or start price to $15 million. All right. So I mean, we can go back in and maybe change. Put like 4
Where's
acres.
the 15 million?
You'd ask me that.
15 million in Albemarle County?
Yep, Albemarle County. 1510 Echo Hill Farm.
15, what is the address?
1510 Echo Hill Farm.
1510, oh, got it. Showed up on Google search here. I'm going to look at this bad boy.
Yeah, so the point is there
That's spectacular.
There are 57 homes done. So let's, we can put a price range in there. What do you think? What do you think the average buyer would want to buy a home for at 2 acres, no HOA? What do you, $500,000 to
with a
700,000?
house on it?
Yeah. So,
in Albemarle County?
So let's just see what's available.
I mean, that's what that's got to be 600 to
are we doing a
900K,
show?
right?
Are we doing a show?
This is
right now?
great. Yeah, we are, and the viewers are loving it.
So I'm going to do, just for the heck of it, I'm going to put in this. I'm going to put a minimum of 500 to, oh God, not 75 million, to 750,000. There's 8 homes. To your point, so there's 8 homes with minimum of 2 acres, no HOA, in Albemarle County, ranging between $500,000 and $750,000.
And the DOMs on those?
I'm working on it. 17 days.
Okay.
That's active. We're not looking at pending. We're not looking at solds or anything like that on that end of it. And so typically when you take out the HOA, they drop. There's no subdivisions, but there happens to be Milton Hills subdivision.
Milton Hills is in the Keswick area. You take a right at the, that's Milton Village, where you're taking a right at the Clifton and Stone Robinson.
So this is Milton Hills.
Where's Milton Hills?
I will tell you.
Is that in Milton in Keswick?
I don't know the answer to that, sir, but I'm going to find out because there's a little thing called M for a map.
Yeah,
I can figure out.
Google Map is a beautiful thing.
No, in my Paragon, I don't have to go out that far. Yeah, it's by Milton in Ashmere. It's off of Milton Road.
Okay, that's a great spot.
Yeah,
Keswick area by the Clifton and Stone Robinson.
Yeah, so it's up by Eagle Mountain Baptist Church.
Beautiful back there.
Yeah, so that's been on the market. Zero just came on today. $500,000. That's probably not going to last very long.
No.
3,200 square feet. let me see what we got here. Three bedrooms, 3.5 baths on 3.9 acres, no HOA.
Multiple folks are saying you need to do a talk show on individual neighborhoods.
Yeah, sure. We've talked about that, I think,
Yeah.
once or twice before, and the executive producer's been gallivanting, and he hasn't.
The man is a very well-traveled individual, Keith Smith, and
that's
he's
talk-
earned it. You've
I
earned it.
was talking to Yona this morning. Wednesday was like, I didn't do a show for 3 weeks. Wednesday was my first show last Wednesday. This is my first full week. I'm excited. I'm doing it. Oh, look at that, 11:20.
No, plenty of time.
Okay.
I'm enjoying this very much. The subdivision versus the standalone.
Yeah, so it depends on the buyer, right? On it, I think Woody's analogy is right. I think if you would to, when I crunch a bunch of numbers between now and Wednesday, I think at the end of the day, you'll see subdivisions will perform a little bit better than out in the country.
Certainly in COVID.
Well, that's interesting because, where do I go? How far back do I go, right?
You should do it. You should do the snapshot 2019 versus. So you get a little of the non-COVID.
So what I'm going to do is this year, last year, 2019 and 18, it's once I set up the program, changing the dates become easy and just take a bunch of notes to go ahead and do it.
You brought ammunition today.
I did. I got all kinds of stuff. We didn't even dig too much into the rest of the actives in the city, but I'm going to be tracking that. The fact that there's quite a few over 60s in there, there's more single digits, but I don't remember seeing a lot of 60s and 70s in the city for quite a while, so we're going to dig a little bit into that.
Your closing thoughts for the viewers and listeners on on housing now.
I think it's, now's the time to buy. We've been saying that forever. Now, if you're ready to buy, now's the time to buy. If you're ready to sell, now's the time to sell. And that's always the case, right? But the market, at the moment, we're somewhat resilient. The inflation's kind of up there. I don't care what anybody says, we're in a recession. Technically, maybe we're not, but we're in a recession. And but homes are still being sold, right? Over the last 60 days, we had 106 sold last week, and then 110. So, so we're doing pretty close on that end of it. Sorry about that. My
No problem.
Hearing aids were ringing there.
You,
I didn't shut the phone off.
Catherine wants us to do a show on how is housing affecting overcrowding in Charlottesville City schools. That's a lot of layers to unpack on that one.
Man, that's a tough one because that is a yin and yang thing, right? Because if you don't have enough houses, you're not pulling in enough revenue to pay the teachers. And if you don't have enough of that, it's just that's
a tough one.
Man, I'm not so sure. I'm qualified to talk about that in great
Vanessa
detail.
Parkhill, who is the queen of Earlysville.
So we can bring in. I'll make a note of that, and we'll bring in experts in the education field that can help us with.
That's a great one. That's a good one. Vanessa Parkhill's watching in Earlysville. She's the queen of Earlysville. Some of the lots, she says, in Earlysville Forest are probably over 2 acres, Keith.
Yeah.
I'd bet all are over 1 acre, mostly wooded, very private, low HOA, lots of trails. Back in the 1990s, these homes rarely sat on the market more than a week or two.
So Vanessa, thank you, but I narrowed the search so low that it was only no HOA. So anything that had an HOA in it
Did not make your criteria.
Did not make the criteria.
Kevin taught me something today. Milton, once you pass the White House on the corner in Milton, on the left, technically Milton Airport, you know who owns hundreds of acres back there? The University of Virginia.
Oh, yes, because there used to be an airport there, right?
Is there? I think there's still. Kevin, is there?
I drive that road
That road is beautiful.
like every day.
There's Milton Airport.
So we got Clifton, we crossed the river. Somebody renovated that old farmhouse
There's a beautiful little.
There's a shooting range down there.
There's a beautiful little, like, deli sandwich shop, convenience store.
Yeah, that's off of 53.
That's off. It used to be the old Simeon Market.
Yeah, that's off of 53. That's really two different locations.
I mean, you go right around the corner.
It's 2 or 3 miles around the corner.
2 or 3 miles, yeah.
Country around the corner.
The airport was formerly the Milton Field.
Exactly right. It's part of UVA.
Part of UVA now.
That's right.
Is the Milton Airport still open?
I've been driving that road since 1987. I've never seen a plane land there.
Oh, Grayson says this. Milton Field is a former airfield located along the Rivanna River east of Charlottesville. The property was purchased by the University of Virginia in the 1930s and was an operational airfield from the 40s until the early 1970s. He says the University of Virginia has repurposed the property for a variety of academic and administrative uses, and the Rivanna Radio Control Club also uses the property for model aircraft flights.
That I can verify. I've seen the model planes fly around there. And then Albemarle.
Dude, I just learned something.
Right next to it, Albemarle County just built an indoor shooting range.
Kevin and Grayson and Catherine, you guys got us going today on a great topic. History of the Milton area would be a great show topic. And Travis says, Keith, you should do a show on PPEAs and how those benefit communities that engage them. You got a lot of pressure right now.
That made me choke.
You got a lot of pressure.
Look at that. Thank you, Travis.
You guys are the best. We love you, viewers.
Travis, you just shut me. I think that's the first time somebody shut me off.
That's a great topic.
It's a great topic. But Travis, how do you make that? I would get so in the weeds on that so fast.
Approachable and digestible.
Yeah, approachable and digestible.
For a talk show. That's the challenge.
That's the trick to this. To go ahead and figure out a way to do that in an approachable way. Because I love them.
You would love it.
Well, I love that products that so much. I'd go in the weeds so fast that I'd be getting texts from Miller, get out of the weeds.
I thought you did a great job today.
Yeah. Other than the last question making me cough here.
You did a great job. Keith Smith. All the shows are archived online at realtalkwithkeithsmith.com. Check out the website, realtalkwithkeithsmith.com.
Who made that website?
It's a great website. We made that website. But what is awesome on that website is the Partners tab.
Yes. Please pull down the Partners tab. Please go ahead and support these folks. They're in the chain of command, for using old Marine Corps terminology. And actually, one of our great sponsors, Segura, is going to be coming in on Friday to talk about some neat stuff that they're going to be releasing. And I want to kind of dig into, hey, we're actually getting ready to put it in our house. We're kind of going to use our house as a beta test on how the process works and so forth and so on. And with inflation going up, if there's a way that this can put on it and cut your electrical bill, which is what we're going to talk about.
Any dollar counts.
Every dollar counts. You
crushed it today.
Thank you. I had a great time. I spent a couple hours prepping yesterday, and hopefully it showed.
It showed. You, Judah Wickower, job well done as well. He's our director, Judah Wickower.
Did Liza do good today?
I thought Liza always
no
is good.
Tail wagging or nothing?
Of the 4 mammals in the room, Liza the dog performs at the highest level and at the most consistent clip every day.
Well, she got special treats today.
Now, granted, the extent of what Liza has to do from a performance standpoint is eat treats from Keith and wiggle her butt, so people love her, and she's very good at doing that. I would say she does that well.
There she is.
on command. Can you show Liza to the viewers and listeners somehow, Judah? I know this is putting you on the fly here. If it's very difficult, no problem. Oh, you're making it happen. You got the studio camera? Liza, are you still over there? Are you going to you can climb over there and show them how you spoil her. It would make great content.
Great content. Okay.
Yeah. Are you showing it? Oh, wow, you are actually showing it. This is live programming at its finest here on the I Love CVille network. This is what Keith does 3 times a week. He gives Liza the rescue dog somewhere between 15 and 20 treats per day.
You're exaggerating.
No, that I am not exaggerating.
You're exaggerating.
I'm not exaggerating.
People,
and as a result, I think Liza would leave with Keith.
Oh, yeah, totally.
He already knows.
Totally.
Totally. And he says it just straightforwardly. She would leave with me. That's the owner right there, Judah.
Does that matter to me?
Oh, I love the show. We'll see you Wednesday.
Yeah, Wednesday is going to be fun. Scott will be with us. We'll kind of pick up some of the stuff from today, and I'm excited about Friday. Tad Terrell is a lot of fun.
Oh, he's the best.
We're gonna have a great time, and
The most jacked guy in solar.
there's something wrong with that.
Dude is Diesel. He's a brick house. Literally, it's a brick house. Tad Luttrell from Segura, friend of the program on Friday. Wednesday,
I'm
Scott
smart
Morris.
enough just to call him sir. Yes, sir. No, sir.
Whatever you need, Tad. Whatever you need. Our house is your house,
That's
Tad.
right. Just don't-
Whatever you need.
That's right.
Don't put me in your bicep, Tad.
Normally, I was trying to negotiate a better deal for the solar, but I kind of gave up on that.
You'd break your kneecaps. Judah, Keith, Jerry, Real Talk with Keith Smith, online at realtalkwithkeithsmith.com. I Love Seville show in 58 minutes.
Have a great Monday, everybody.
Have a great Monday. Take care, everyone. Take care. Keith, that was excellent.
That was